Devlog introducing brings you Kicked in the Teeth, who have their incendiary new album, Watling Street Chambers, and it drops on the 9th of May through Rare Vitamin. And thank you for joining me today, lads.
Pleasure to be here. What does incendiary mean?
Incendiary. It's on fire.
Oh, good.
Eccentric, isn't it?
I understand your band is made up of members of two different bands, The Business and Incisions, yeah? How did this all come together? Are you still members of those bands, or is this a side project?
No, so it's kind of, I played drums in The Business for 10 years, so I was kind of like a bit of a hired gun, sort of came in at the end of it. And then, I mean, that band stopped, like Mick died, so that was the end of that band. And then Jay had been playing drums in Incisions as well. And that was like the last band he was in before we started doing this. And then we've all known each other since we were kids, really, since we were probably 16, 17. Played in like I could list like 100 different bands that we've all been in. I think it's the first time all four of us have been in them, like probably like any sort of real band together.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it kind of came together through the pub we're sat in right now is the Salty Dog, which is kind of our place. And we just kind of came together through that. Really, we were all in the same boat, all looking to start playing music again, and it just kind of it was an accident, really. I would say
happy accident, like my mum told me I was.
That looks like a pretty. Sorry,
mate. We were at a wedding. That's where it came about. We were at one of our mates' weddings that we'd all been friends with for years, and him and the singer got drunk and said to me, "We want to start a band." And I just went, "No," and walked off. And then, a few days later, it was just a constant topic then, wearing me down to get us to start a band. So I said, "I don't even have a guitar. I don't even play anymore." And so I borrowed a guitar and we managed to write out some little basic songs quickly. And but then we were in a rehearsal room 2 weeks later, and we were like, "Oh, it doesn't actually sound that terrible."
I think Mike was the only one who had any gear, because my drums had been donated to the pub at this point, so I didn't have a drum kit.
right.
It was very, very, very thrown together. And then, however many years later, we're 3 albums in.
Yeah,
That's amazing, man. I mean, the album is a really full-blooded punk rock record, and it references many eras of punk from both sides of the pond. Was that the intention when you were putting the album together? Because it pays. I mean, it's the first punk album I've heard in a while that got me excited from the UK. It's got me really back into listening to my punk rock. So, was that the intention?
I think it's kind of. I mean, we all kind of came up, with the exception of Mike, who's a metalhead. We all kind of came up with that kind of 90s punk, which at the time was. It wasn't like a conscious choice to be like, oh, let's listen to American bands. I think at that point in time, most of the existing punk bands in the UK had kind of drifted off to either not doing anything, or they were doing kind of shit metal, or they were doing, it just wasn't really anything about. And it's when that kind of, I guess, the California epitaph kind of thing blew up. Kind of hit us when we were teenagers. So I think that influence has always been there.
Yeah.
And then you kind of trace back to the earlier sort of stuff, and then a lot of those sort of early bands sort of came out, came out of retirement almost off the back of, bands like Rancid and whoever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they were back out and playing, and then you saw these bands. Well, oh, this is great, and So I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just that's probably the first thing you're exposed to is that sort of the skate punk, and then you get like the hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
Then you kind of discover the British stuff and go, well, actually this resonates a bit more with us, because we're not from somewhere sunny. We're from a rainy town in the north of England, so can't really like relate to skateboarding to work, but we can relate to this kind of like the sort of darker sort of UK kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, it sounds like really British. It sounds really British, and I only say like the American side because it sounds to my ears, right, like the Subhumans and Bad Religion had a baby and they left it with Rancid and GBH to look after. If that makes sense. But there's definitely like your approach to choruses reminds me a bit of Bad Religion, because it's those kind of it's lyrically very on point as well. which is something I also equate to Bad Religion. You know, they've always had really great lyrics. So that's where that comes from. But also with a band with such a full-on sound, you seem to have a very positive message. Do you think that's lacking in the scene these days? Positive message.
Excuse the hand dryers. We're next to a toilet.
I'll get the door.
I think for me, I kind of harp on about this a little bit. It's kind of you see a lot of bands who are very negative, and I think you can kind of acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of things that are shit. There's, everyone will attest to the fact that life isn't all sort of rainbows and unicorns. But at the same time, I think you can't forget the fact that you're a band, and you need to be doing something at least. It doesn't have to be like posy, but I think if you're in a band, you need to be entertaining. That's kind of the whole point of you existing is to be entertaining, and you can have your say about what's going on, and that's fine. But in reality, you're not going to really change anything. You're not going to you're not going to cause a shift in government or anything like that. So you can be, we're annoyed about the same things everyone else is annoyed about, but there's no need to bring everyone in the room down about it.
Trying to sing songs, lyrically about things that are happening in our lives, and not everyone will want to relate to, singing about your friends that have passed away or whatever. I don't know, but we try to keep it all relevant to little stories and little things, like. On the EP before this record, we've got a song about basically a fictional character, but that came from the Ballad of Richard Rambo, and that was because we were in a van all together watching one of the Rambo movies when we were on tour, and at the end of the film, he's walking into his farm, and it says Rambo. So we just jokingly said, Rambo's dad's called Richard, and then we just wrote a song about it. Nice. The name is about that, but the lyrically, the song is about just us being in a band and just having fun with it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You can be, downtrodden, but at least you can, try and be cheerful about it, because, you see a lot of bands on the scene and they're preaching to the choir. People already feel the same. That's why they're at a punk show. If they wanted, it's not like they're turning it up at the Taylor Swift show and they're going, things are pretty fucking shit, actually, guys. But you can make a fucking difference. Thanks, Taylor.
I mean, you've referenced Taylor Swift, but she's probably like making like the biggest sort of political change of any artist.
Well, I'm just using that as I don't fucking know. I don't even know what music she plays.
Yeah.
Too punk.
Bit of grindcore, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
It does seem like that one of the messages I get, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but seems to be that you've got one life, you might as well live it to the fullest. Was the overarching theme I got from the tracks, that people die, people have hard times, and so you've got one life, just make sure you make the most of it. Would that be right? Have I got the through line there?
Yeah, there is a bit of a positive message with like a track like Better Days that's saying, basically, yeah, things are going to be tough, but there's going to be better days, like in a nutshell, just keep pushing. You've got to make the effort yourself if you want things to improve. And you can look at that on all different aspects, can't you?
I think that's kind of just like quintessentially quite a British thing as well. It's like, if something terrible happens to you, like different nations have got different approaches to things. And I think, a lot of people are quite, again, sort of like there's a big sort of like processes and all the rest of it. I think something that's like positively British is that you can have the worst day of your life, and at the end of it, you still go, oh well,
Yes.
kind of like laugh about it, or you'll tell your friends, and you go, oh, this really terrible thing's happened, and they'll be like, well, why are you crying about it? And it's like,
yeah,
okay, fair enough. And it's just, it's good. I think it's a positive thing to be able to, sort of like sort of just take it on the chin and be able to sort of crack on. And you can't always do that, but I think it definitely helps to be sort of surrounded by people who will kind of sort of pull you out of a rut by just giving you shit to your face. I think there's something like, I think that's uniquely British as well.
Yeah, it certainly is. I know our editor, if I'm having a whinge, she knows when I'm done with the whinge, because I'll just go, anyway. and then we
Yeah,
move
yeah,
on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a British thing to do. You know, you just say, that's drawn a line under that. Let's crack on.
yeah. So, well, I mean, we can't do food. We can't do various things. We can't speak any other languages, but we can take bad news really well.
Yeah, stiff upper lip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I see you've been booked to play Rebellion Festival this year. Now you must be a bit pumped about that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's as far as punk rock stuff goes, I think it's probably one of, if not the best punk rock festival in the world. We've been pretty fortunate because we went when we first started up. We were booked into play, and then obviously lockdown happened, and that didn't happen. But they then had us back the following year onto introducing stage, and off the back of that, they had us back the following year, which was great. And then we weren't there last year, but then we're back again this year.
Oh wow!
And it's great. And I think as a festival, it always got a bit of criticism from kind of like maybe living in the past a little bit, which I think was probably unfair because they had a lot of the even sort of like 15 years ago, they have like sort of current American bands coming over and newer bands. They've really doubled down on it in the last few years, and they've got an entire stage across 4 days dedicated to bands that have never played the festival before.
Yeah,
and I don't think there's another festival that provides
from all over the place as well. It's not just like two sides of the pond, is it? You've got like the South American bands, Japanese bands. You've got bands from everywhere, like Italians, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I don't think there's another festival probably that can boast the fact that they put that much into brand new bands. So
yeah,
it's a cool setup. It's really fun.
Plus, it's all indoors, so if it rains, so what?
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know
there.
our Gary covers it every year. Our Gary and Aggie, they go down, and I edit the footage together. And I'm like, oh my God, they're playing. So it's always a very cool bill,
Yeah,
So yeah, and with it being in Blackpool as well, and I do love the fact that last year they tried to mess with the festival, the EDL guys, and they got seen on their way by the punks, which is fab.
I was working because the Attack, who are good friends of ours from the States, they do a lot of merch stuff. So I was actually working when that happened, and we were sort of near a door. And the first thing we knew was happening, a lot of people like trying to leave, and it's like, oh, there must be some sort of emergency inside. They were trying to get outside to like, like the Winter Gardens security team, whoever it was, basically locked all the doors so no one could get in and nobody could get out. So there was like a weird sort of 40 minutes where we were just like held hostage in the Winter Gardens in Blackpool. And it was just we were like surrounded, brought in Daddy's great big Newfoundland dogs, like the rescue dogs, and they brought them in for like a fundraising thing. They were outside for a fundraising thing. And obviously it all started kicking off, so quick, get the dogs inside. So I was just surrounded by these massive fluffy dogs.
I've got some footage of those dogs.
Yeah. And it was just very, very surreal.
But I'll tell you, something that was heartwarming that came out of that was all the mess that was left. It was the punks that went and cleaned it all up. You know what I mean? I mean, what a great community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was, I mean, it seemed like poor planning on the part of the people who came down. It's like, oh, we'll turn up when there's like 20,000 sort of punks and like anti-fascist activists. Let's go and do a thing then. And I guess they mustn't have known, because it must have come as a shock to be just confronted by loads of like crusty, studded up sort of guys. Going like, you leave our fucking Gregs alone.
About fucking 20 pints of Darling. Fuck it. Not fight anyone.
Maybe no one told them that the punk rock mission statement isn't what they thought it was,
Yeah, I mean, somebody should tell some of the punks.
Yeah, true that. So are you going to be? So you got the album out 9th of May. Yeah. Are you going to be gigging a bit off the back of that? Have you got some tours and stuff for the rest of the year?
Yeah. So we're launching it here at our place in Northwich. So that's the 11th. That's a Sunday. Sort of it's released on the 9th digitally, and then physically on the 11th. None of us really understand why that is, but that's just how it's kind of fallen. So we're doing a release party here at the Salty Dog in Northwich.
Nice.
And then from them we bounce. I've been given a list in front of me. So then we go to Nice and Sleazy Festival in Morecambe, which is another great festival.
This guy read anything on the teleprompter.
Skate Rads down in Plymouth, not Exeter, that's written wrong.
A dinosaur wearing shoes.
Yeah, Pontefract, Liverpool, Manchester, Rebellion, then we're at the Underworld in London, and then Nottingham in September.
Awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, we get about as much as we can. Oh,
Yeah.
so Scotland after that as well.
Yeah, we're up in Scotland for the festival army. So,
Yeah, the Mean City Festival.
Mean City Festival.
Really cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. Right. So, like I said, your album got me excited about UK punk rock again. Who should I be checking out? Is there anyone else I should be checking out?
No.
Good answer.
I think there's like there's definitely we play with great bands all the time. Recently we played with a band called Grailguard from Nuneaton,
Yeah, cool.
and we
Good
did.
guys.
I think we played with them maybe a year, 18 months ago, and it was one of the first gigs. And I thought, these guys are pretty good. And then we played with them in Birmingham last month maybe, and they came on, and it was like, wow, this is like this band's they've nailed it. They're locked in. It's really good.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a few bands have been around for a bit that are doing really well. Like Grade 2 seem to be getting bigger and bigger. And they're a very British band, but they've kind of got that American influence. They have like almost like a UK American band, I guess. But
Yeah.
but they're fantastic, and they're like flying the flag all over the world. And like we played with them a bunch of times, and they're just really nice guys. Really kind of supporting us as well, which is nice.
Awesome. Couple of shout outs there. Right. Now, this last question, I've asked everybody I've interviewed this question this year, and we're going to make a playlist out of it at the end of the year.
Oh, let's Mike, you've got so much. You can take this.
Right. No, it's for each of you separately. Right. So, the Board of Education, the Education Board, whatever we call them, I want you to put a track on a national curriculum that every kid of 18 has to hear before they leave school out into the big wide world. What song do you think would set up a formative youth for the rest of his life?
Ooh.
Any genre.
Nice.
Any genre you like. You can even pick one of your own.
No, we can't do that. Like, only dickheads pick their own stuff, right? That's
You'd be surprised.
nobody's ever picked their own songs, have they, on this? Name and statements, these pick their own tracks.
Some have.
That's awful. Like what bastards?
Have you just turned 18?
Yeah, you know what? You're just
it's
about to
gotta be,
become an adult. So what's the song that's going to set you up for becoming an adult?
Let's be careful.
It's got to be Sham 69, hasn't it? Hurry up, Harry. We're going down the pub. You've turned 18.
Oh, I see.
Oh yeah, good idea. Yeah,
play. I'm going in. I'm going there. That's mine. I'm in. I've done mine.
I like that.
Hurry up, Harry.
Just picking one out of the air. Let's go. Just because it's got your name in it, I'll go. Joe Lies by the Bouncing Souls. It's got like, I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of got like a bit of a line that I've kind of adhered to a little bit with trying to get things happening in small towns. And it's something along the lines of, I'm just giving Mike a bit of breathing time. So
Mike's like that meme that he's counting.
It's something like people say like if they don't care, why should I care? And I say if I don't care, why should anybody care? And I think that's kind of, I think if you're like a DIY band or you're doing anything at our sort of level where you're not obviously you're not in it for the big bucks and you're not making money. I think that's kind of important to be able to say you're doing something for the reason of doing it, and you're not hiding behind something else. It's not a career. You're not doing it for even like sort of like charity or anything like that. Or you're doing it because it's something you want to do. And I think that's I think that's kind of like people lose sight
for the cause.
Yeah. And I think people kind of lose sight of that a little bit and get a bit sort of bogged down with giving greater meaning to stuff. And I think there's something quite good about being able to go, well, like I want to do this because I want to do this. There's no other reason than it's what I want to do. So
yeah.
Well, I've just got to say anything off the Rain in Blood album by Slayer. who can't go through their life without liking a little bit of Slayer? So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to give like a really thoughtful answer, and you just gone Slayer.
Metalhead.
When in doubt, shout Slayer.
Yeah, absolutely. Works for me. Right, well, thank you so much, Kicked in the Teeth. Love your record. And it's out May 9th. Go out, check it out. Thank you for being with me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot, guys.